to be here, and thank you all for this amazing invitation. As a scholar myself, it's very interesting, and I want to, of course, plus one both Dr. Wazalek and Dr. Warren's information that they've said because it's very important. Coming out of the academy, especially in HBCU, we are pushed to start publishing as soon as possible. Like within your first semester, they say you start trying to publish right away because it is very hard to get published. It takes sometimes 3-4 years before you can get your first publication, and that doesn't differ from book to journals. So that's one of the first thing that they tell you to do. So everything that like the previous panelists said about to keep writing, keep reading, keeping your information sharpened, making sure that you're in touch and networking, that's all extremely valid. But when you're talking about books versus a journal, I mean, of course, there is no significant major difference between the two, except that from your perspective. Where do you want to go with your life and your career? What do you see yourself doing? If you want to be in the academy, I mean, journals will be great for that. But books and books chapters are very significant because in that regard, it really helps you to index your work where you can be cited and theorized and all of that stuff, which really help you as a researcher if you want to be in the academy. That's a big difference between the books, the publishing book chapters, and versus journal. And both of them are very important. With journal articles and quality, you have to consider, the quality of the journal. And I think, that was touched on, whether you want to be indexed, whether you want to be easily found, and whether you want to write specifically for your future research. The value is typically measured by your citation and your impact. So for book chapters, typically focus on the reader and present your ideas, your methodologies in exploring the topic. But I definitely agree with Dr. Warren that good storytelling is important because no one want to read a dry research, right? When you pick up a book, you're turning the pages because you're interested in the story. So good storytelling is important, but we're talking about scholarly work. So that has to be in there as well. You have to have your ideas, your methodologies, your citation, your reference, your lit review. That is very important. And I will also ask, when you're both writing journal and books and book chapters, what is it about? I mean, who's your audience? Who are you writing this for? And how can I use my research to contribute to the